Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. चलें
जरूर
आइए
हम आए नेक्स्ट
कैसे हो थैंक यू सो मच थैंक यू थैंक यू
This is Dr. This is our controller for the officer as well as helping me in my
आपको प्लान पूरा करना है
जरूर जरूर yeah
the rest I leave it to you
yeah the scientist of Imtech and CSIO through MS Teams.
I have been here so many times
Yes.
पहले भी आपके CSIO में भी 2 बार शायद गए हैं
Yes.
That's not an issue.
No, it encourages all of us
हाँ,
to
नहीं, वो ठीक है encourages तो कोई बात नहीं।
and we have a small
प्रेस वैसा इंटरेक्शन हम नहीं करते उसको कोई
ठीक।
हमें प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस नहीं करना कोई बाइट मांगेगा थोड़ा बाइट दे देंगे आपको
ठीक lot more of students we attract quite a lot of students so that is also there I'll go through it so as you know it was established
ये उनको करने दो क्यों डिस्टर्ब कर रहे हो why are you disturbing them आप करने दीजिए everything is open 1.5 घंटे तक जो कुछ और भी कोई कुछ करना चाहता है करने दीजिए उसको don't stop anybody
So, Imtech started its journey in 1984 under the leadership of Professor Vora, and we've been built on 5 basic pillars that have supported our research throughout. One is world-class research on modern molecular microbiology, and that is very important because we want to work in all the niche and the emerging areas of microbiology. So that is the base of whatever we do here. In this regards, there is also a pillar on infectious diseases, especially TB, that we've been working on. So that has actually helped us last year in initiating work on COVID as well. So that was very important. We've also been working on AMR and other diseases. Third, which Professor Vora thought in the beginning itself, is that we should have a repository of microbes which should be useful not only for academics, but also for the industry, because there are lots of strains which are required by the industry which are not available anywhere else. So we've been having a major repository. We have over 15,000 strains which are used by the industry also. So that's
50 or
15.
50
15. These are used by academicians and industry. Then we have also gone into the applied side of it, and we have a very strong fermentation and biochemical engineering division which actually supports industrial microbial technology. And over the years, as you know, Dr. Sani had worked on streptokinase, and several other products have come out of Imtech, and also support has been given to the industry by Imtech scientists. Finally, which is true for most institutes, data analytics was thought of as one of the bases of the institute from the beginning itself, and we have been supporting big data analytics recently. So if you look at today, you can see almost all the major areas of basic research on microbiology are available in India or in Imtech. Most of the scientists are working on the emerging areas of microbiology, whether it's microbiome, metagenomics, genomics of microbes, evolution, so on and so forth. But the most important thing that we have in Imtech is the service division, which is the third column here. And as I told you, we have a repository which actually provides microbes to industry as well as academics people. fermentation, biochemical engineering. We also have a very well developed animal facility, and instrument infrastructure is also very good. So that's what. Today, towards the end of my talk, I'll talk about the third pillar that we are trying to initiate or has been initiated in the last few years, is to provide solutions to the industry and academicians. Because service we can provide, but many times there are small things that researchers can do which can actually provide a lot of benefits to the industry, not only in capital but also in intellectual. So I will touch upon two baby steps that we have started taking in this regard. As I said, there are around 50 scientists, equally number of technical staff. We attract a lot of good PhD students and research staff. Infrastructure also is quite well developed. We have a 47 acres campus. And apart from the various basic biology infrastructure that we have, we also have infrastructure which actually supports the industry. As I said, fermentation-based process development, CGMP facility we have, protein engineering, synthetic biology we are trying to initiate now, cell culture. We are one of the few institutions around India who have a BSL-3 facility, and BSL not only just the infrastructure but also very well developed expertise on BSL-3, and I'll come to that when I talk about COVID. As I said, we have MTCC, and while we were till now looking at bacteria, fungi, but now last year onwards we are also looking at viruses repository. We have this fermentation biochemical engineering division, and the motto is to take the technology from the lab to the industry. So that's the motto, and several industries we have supported in this way. Publications, quickly go through that. We on the average around 90 to 100 publications. We have very good research capabilities, and that is shown in our publications. Basic microbiology, if you want to take, even in applied microbiology, we have very good papers that have come out of microbiology, out of IMTech in the last 2 years. This is supported from the technology demonstration because we have lots of patents that have been granted over the last 2 years. Equal number of patents are filed every year. So, all in all, we have a very good research environment which supports not only basic research but also applied research. I will come to the solutions that I was referring to, and these are some of the baby steps that we've been taking in this regard. So this is an example from Dhampur Sugar Mills, who actually came to us with a very simple problem, which was that they were having low yields in alcohol fermentation and presence of organic acids in spent wash. And when the scientists in IMTech actually looked at it, we realized that the answers were very, very simple. Actually, for us, they were very simple, but for them, it would require capital investment, not only for infrastructure, but also for manpower, because that also costs a lot. But here, interacting with us, and you can see just periodic change of antibiotics, use of combination of antibiotics, very, very simple solutions we could actually provide, and that actually helped them in actually increasing the turnovers and other things that they could achieve. That was one. We've been actually dealing with lots of industries in the last 1 year, and I'll come to what this is, basically about COVID, but also about other things. The second thing that I want to bring to you, it's more of a societal as well as an industrial problem that we see around us. We humans have actually created so much of waste around us, whether it is plastic waste or fly ash or other things that we actually, and there are no easy solutions for it. Many times the solutions that come out actually create another sort of waste. So we've been thinking of actually providing wholesome solutions through interventions on a microbial front, something called bioremediation, and this actually came up from a collaboration that we have had with ISRO. So a few years back, ISRO had come to us and collaborated on something what is called as spent the ammonium perchlorate, which actually is it's the waste that is generated out of the rocket fuel. So ammonium perchlorate comes out as a waste, and they have huge amounts of it. Ammonium perchlorate.
What did you say rocket was?
Rocket fuel. So the spent rocket fuel.
Rocket fuel.
Yeah. So and you would know ammonium perchlorate has a lot of health effects. When they came to us, they wanted whether we could actually degrade it into something which is not toxic. And our scientists in MTCC and in fermentation unit actually been able to define microbial consortia, two of them actually which can actually degrade it to 7,000 ppms in 24 hours, which is almost 10 times of what has been reported even in US. So it's a huge jump, but I think so even this is very less when we think about it, because it will take years to convert this, the amount of waste that they have. So we've been actually toying with the idea of not just scaling it up using fermentation, but also using synthetic biology approaches. So one of the things that we've been thinking is if we can we have now identified through genomics and proteomics genes and operons which actually help in degrading this in the microbes, and we know microbes which are scalable in fermentation. So combining them, genetically improving those strains, we want to actually use it for simple solutions. We are also doing it for plastic now. Haryana government has actually asked for waste management, not just for plastic but also for fly ash, for Panipat thermal plant. So we've been actually looking at. So this is the two kinds of solutions that we are trying to provide. Another solution which this year we had to provide was in terms of COVID management or mitigation of the pandemic. This is the simplest of the things that we could do because we have a very good infrastructure. So very early on in the last week of March, early first week of April, we were able to actually help the health officials in actually starting up the COVID testing in not only in Tri-City, Punjab, Haryana, even Uttarakhand samples were sent to us at one point of time. But more importantly, we were able to train a lot of people, not only in Panchkula, say for example, but also in institutes like IHBT in Himachal, IITR in Lucknow. We also were able to actually not only provide training to IIP Dehradun, but they don't have a BSL-2 facility. So we went there, we actually helped them actually make a BSL-2, and now they are one of the major centers in Uttarakhand which are doing the testing.
So when you say IHBT 60,000,
yeah, these are the number of samples they have done.
Achha, this is the number of samples. It is not the number of people who have been trained.
No. This is the number of samples they have done. So I'm just telling you that they became major centers of testing in their own states. Right? But apart from that, because we are a research organization, we were also interested in doing other important things, including antiviral testing. So because we have a very good, well-developed BSL-3 facility, we were able to culture the SARS-CoV-2 virus. And this picture, Dr. Manoj Raj's lab have taken in the electron micrographs. But we were able to not only culture several of the clinical strains, we were able to sequence, but more importantly, we actually were able to set up something that the industry as well as the academics was wanting. Very few labs in India actually have this capability of testing compounds, antiviral compounds, and see their efficacies against the virus. And we have tested almost 150 compounds, and the companies that I was showing you earlier, they are the companies who actually came with their products, whether it was copper foil, UV based appliances, emulsion paints. So this particular niche area of testing was not available in India in the beginning, and now we and others, still very few, have been.
You were trying to validate these claims,
Yeah,
validate or
validate.
maybe
Yeah,
disprove them, that
Yeah.
all these
prove or
claims,
disapprove. Yeah.
prove or disapprove.
To
So
play
whatever
games,
these
you
claims
can
are
ask me
made
to
by
tell you
these
a joke.
emulsion paints and other US.
Yeah, so for example, Hindalco approached us with copper foil. So they wanted to actually cover surfaces with copper foil. So, but they wanted to test whether copper actually is inhibitory to the virus growth. And we actually showed in our culture, because these are very specific.
Out of all this, which is shown on this slide,
Yeah.
what is that new thing or the revolutionary thing that emerged in the last 1 year?
About
On this particular front,
yeah. So
that, regarding this antiviral efficacy, etc.
yeah. So we have
Any
actually.
particular thing, so many claims must have been made.
Yeah.
But what is that which emerged, which could be said that by, it's a find of the year or something like that?
Actually, what we do is test and tell them whether it is efficacious or not. I would say, if I
That way, whatever claims are being made, did you find anything
copper
which
foil
has
was-
a huge potential, revolutionary potential to change things across the board in the scenario, not maybe in this relation, but overall? Means if there is something that is, you can say, claimed and is really true about its antiviral properties, so it helps in at least spreading the pandemic, or at least wherever we are trying to create an environment. So anything that you can say was substantial, which is worth.
I would actually, if I have to stick to one claim, I think so. Copper was very good, actually, very, very good claim that they had, and really, really
So how
efficacious.
how did they want to use that copper thing for the?
So they made a very thin foil. It's like a aluminum foil that we get, and what they're saying is that things like door handles and things like that, if you put it on that, and people use those, if you can actually put around those or on tables or chair.
So if by touch the virus is
Yeah.
transmitted there, that has an inherent property, it will kill it.
Kill it, yeah.
In how much time?
Very quickly, actually. I don't remember exactly the time that we were doing,
But
but
within 5 to 10 minutes.
5 to 10 minutes.
Inactivation.
Inactivation.
So fomites are, problem of fomites is
Yeah.
addressed.
So, but this particular aspect, I think it has never been translated into any significant action by them in the
Yeah, that is what
last
we
one.
are also surprised, because there are lots of other companies who don't have that. They keep on claiming. Hindalco, even though it's such a nice thing, have not claimed. So we were also surprised.
Okay.
But another thing that I will come to, and this is
But why I'm asking this, that you see, when we are preparing for any future pandemic, making the country future ready, there are so many things that are getting developed at the grassroots level, so many laboratories at the, you see, block levels and treatment facilities. There's a very exhaustive plan, next 5-6 years.
yeah.
So, a simultaneous plan on these fronts also. So tomorrow we encounter another virus like this, and where, you see, in the initial stages there was so much of talk.
Yeah.
That for maybe they have not been able to do something now.
Yeah.
But as a laboratory, we should be like focusing on research of all those things, not from the point of view of the industry. That industry has come to us, we are validating, disproving or proving whatever, but overall, as a laboratory, we should be focused on research where we can say that this is something from the laboratory that we can deliver, and this, if it is translated into action and into products by the different industries in different levels, then maybe for future, even otherwise also, those who are making these surfaces and all, so if they make some amendments in their strategy, so even for other infectious diseases also, which are say transferred either through droplet infection, when maybe droplet is transferred to a surface and then from the surface you catch the, because I am sure that nothing of that sort is taking place anywhere in the world, or maybe, and if it is developed at a mass scale, so at least during we have a emergency strategy. Even if the system cannot afford to do it in normal times, at least during emergencies we have something based on this. This is a very this is a golden experience of 15 months by now. So we should use all the aspects of this experience for making the country future ready.
Sure, yeah.
So maybe you can, I don't want an answer right now, but just keep that in mind, and what we can do about it, and convert this particular slide into a revolutionary action plan for the country. And that could be, I think, very significant contribution from this lab.
Yeah. So actually,
You see, our knowledge domain, or this maybe treatment domain, maybe only this microbiology and all that, but that is all academic and theory.
Yeah, yeah.
Ultimately, that is what I keep saying, that impact factor is not only this.
Yeah.
Impact factor is what will happen in the society.
That's right.
How will the people be benefited?
Yeah.
Like you developed the streptokinase, so it had the impact factor. Everybody talks about it all over the world. So that is that type of impact factor from this biology, or with whatever this biomechanics or biokinetics, whatever you call it, this I think could be another societal aspect of the research inside the laboratory.
Yeah.
More particularly on this front, we
Yeah.
could work on that.
Yeah. So I will just I'll just go to something that we actually did with CSIO. So this is where interdisciplinary research has actually led to something very interesting and societal, can have a societal. So we actually were testing the SARS-CoV-2 virus in the air, and there are these Sartorius cells, these samplers, very costly ones. So we got in touch with CSIO. So they actually developed the air sampler, which is here, a very frugal one. And I think so they are going to show you this today. By which we could actually do this study in and where we showed that ventilation is important, closed environment. If you actually have a COVID specific wear mask and follow all the rules, then you will not get infected. So all these things came out in the study. But what also came out is that we actually developed the capability of testing the virus in air. So this is the machine, this is the chamber that we can actually test the virus. This is the sampler, this is the nebulizer, and we can actually check things like UV, ozone, effect of those. One another important thing that is coming out of our studies is that when we do these studies where we say air, in the air there is the virus particles, we still don't know, and it's very difficult to know whether it is a viable virus particle, because that is something that no one has actually checked till now. And with their team and ingenuity of our scientists, actually, we actually have now been able to, very preliminary, but we have been able to actually check virus viability, aerosol-borne virus viability. So we can actually take these viruses.
So if in one line you have to state the outcome of this particular research, though preliminary, what is that? One line.
Basically, that whether the virus is viable in the aerosol or not, when we actually see many people say, yeah, हमने virus को detect किया, but whether it is a viable virus or not, we in IMTech actually, because of our bio.
So what did you infer? Is it viable or what?
Yeah, so it is viable in some cases. Now we are actually taking it to the public places and trying to figure out. And it will also be useful in our air purification, because air purifiers, what you get in the market, they don't tell you whether it is the purification is just of the virus, or the virus that has been removed, was it viable or not. So those the solutions
If I
with
may say,
CSI.
sir, if I may say, see, when you take any purification process, we don't know whether the process actually deactivates or not. There are various claims. If you just measure the virus, you will always find the RNA.
Because
So
it's
you
a-
never know whether it was viable before or it has been deactivated. Now with this development, we are able to figure out whether a particular protocol deactivates the virus or not. And that is a very big achievement we have done. And
So it
with
is
their
not-
help, all our air purification ultraviolet units we showed in CSIO have been validated.
So that's something that in the next 10-15 days we will be able to actually come to.
So are you sharing all these research activities with ICMR?
They
Or
are
you
the-
are working in silos, they are working in their own field and there is no coordination?
uh,
So basically, we as everyone does, we put it on the archives or something like that. And most of the time, when we tell to the DGCSR,
But
he then shares it.
my suggestion is that you should be one step ahead of this, proactive. That is one part. You also know that how many people have all the time to see everything which is put by everybody. But if there is something here, like if you are doing something about tuberculosis, your system should be proactively in touch and contact with the people who are working on tuberculosis in the health ministry, or who are doing some research around tuberculosis in ICMR, or now every day ICMR is coming out with a paper talking about virus, talking about transmission, talking about mutation, talking about this, that. So all these, and there is so much that has been talk around aerosols and all that. So if some of our laboratories have done something around that, and if it is not even known to the people who are actively involved in the, like I also did not know as a minister that there is something happening in my laboratory. I don't know whether the fault is at this level or at the level of DG, CSIR or whatever level. So that is what I keep telling, that we should not be working in silos. I always tell the scientists that the level of coordination should be such that you see something under the microscope with your eyes, and your hand is writing an email to your colleagues. That actually is the optimal utilization of all this work basically.
Sir, I mean, in this context, CSIR labs, IMTech, CSIO, CBRI primarily in Roorkee, we are right now bringing out a document which will be given to you by DG very
नहीं, वो
shortly.
ठीक है डॉक्यूमेंट आप वो
Which talks
समझो
about all
that
the
is-
airflows and all those
हाँ,
things.
what I am say, आप समझो वो सब थ्योरी है, वो सब आएगा, किताब आएगी, प्रोडक्शन होगा, सब होगा, करके वो अलमारी में रख दिया जाएगा. They will get it released by me. But if at those active stages, if there is no coordination, but what the point that I am making, I am not interested in a document to be released. I am interested in a day-to-day active collaboration between the various people, whether they are working in the science ministry or the health. If you are doing something about science, in science about health, and at a time when COVID is a major disaster for the country, so all your activities on that front should be shared in real time with the real people. That is my idea. Rest all will follow.
No,
You will send a
Maybe we
paper.
can have a virtual archive where
No,
everybody
but-
can post their findings.
No, not only that. For example, this sewage surveillance that we did here, was at the initiative of the Pollution Control Board of Mohali, Punjab Pollution Control Board, but was done with PGI, for example. So just telling.
Yes,
Yeah.
Means I don't want to get into I wanted to make a point. If you are already doing it, I have no problem. If you are not doing it, I just thought I should bring it to your attention that this is what is. You see, otherwise, if we keep working in silos, it doesn't help the country as such. It may help your institution in putting one more paper on the in the journal, but it doesn't help the country. That is what I'm trying to
Sir,
say.
that is never the intent, sir. I mean, we have been working together and
No, not
we are
only
going
you
to
together.
industry also.
You see, you are in Chandigarh, just as a say stones throw from each other, whatever distance may be. But my idea is all across the country, whosoever is working in the field, whosoever can be benefited by what you have done, you should have an active collaboration and coordination with all of them.
Right.
That is what my point is.
On the common platform.
Yes, whatever platform, scientifically, you have to be in touch with each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So just before I
So just
close.
keep the this time
Yeah, this is the last
management
one.
also in
Just
your, at the
to-
back of your mind that by 12:30 we have to finish everything.
Yeah. So this is the last one, just to tell you what the inauguration is about. So basically, IMTech has had a very good infrastructure to actually support industry, startups, entrepreneurs in this area. And for a long time, this has been the view of all the leadership in IMTech that whether it was Dr. Sani or Dr. Kaul, we wanted to actually have a bio-incubator where we could, but unfortunately due to regulatory rules and things like that, Section 8 company, it was not happening. And in one of my discussions with Dr. Rakesh Mishra and CCMB, AIC, CCMB, they told me that there are lots of startups there, but they are not able to take all of them because they need scale up many times. And I said, we have the right platform for scale up. So, and that is where this idea of collaborating between the two institutes, they have the Section 8 company, which is the AIC, CCMB, and we have all the infrastructure. So we said, why not actually join together? On legal terms, we found out they can open a center here, and that is what today you are.
Yeah, that's
doing.
good. This is again, you see an example of how you can
Yeah.
work together.
So instead of
So you could
inventing the
find
whole
a
wheel again,
you could find a solution within the
yeah.
technical bottlenecks.
Yeah.
That is what actually is the need.
Yeah. So instead of inventing the whole wheel again, we actually now can provide lot of support to the local entrepreneurs. So this is basically what we are going to show.
Okay.
So we will show you where we are going to set it up. There are already companies who want to come in, and the CEO of AIC CCMB is also come here. So we will go there and then.
Okay.
So that's it from my side.
I just want a little bit of account of, because in that note that you had sent to me, I saw that something about tuberculosis. Some new regime you are trying to discover, which you said and claimed will help in helping us eliminate tuberculosis. What is that basically?
Yeah, Manoj, you have that.
Sir, that was a program initiated during Dr. Kaul's time, and as you know, his background was developing bedaquiline. So, based on those leads which he had developed there, a program was initiated where several of my other senior colleagues have been involved. They are looking to target some other molecules of tuberculosis bacilli which are involved in the energy metabolism of Mycobacterium tuberculosis specifically. And so the idea is to develop inhibitory molecules which will be able to block that energy producing metabolism, the electron transport chain in the Mycobacterium, but at the same time they will not affect the host, that is the mammalian host energy metabolism pathways, so that their issue of toxicity is very much reduced. And because as you know very well, sir, that MTB is also a smart pathogen. It has been with human beings for thousands of years. It has also been evolving itself slowly to be able to defend itself from whatever drugs we are throwing at it. So a combinatorial approach has to be taken where you hit the enemy at multiple points so that he is not able to recover and develop drug resistance as has been the problem over last many years. Like last many years, now streptomycin resistant strains are coming. We have MDR strains are emerging. So now the focus is on these energy, the molecules which allow the Mycobacterium tuberculosis to produce its energy, it's basically its ATP, while in the host. So there is an ongoing research program.
Would you anticipate that something very good, very concrete and very specific, which has the potential to change history around treatment of tuberculosis could emerge?
Well, sir, based on some of the research that was going on here, Zydus Cadila actually approached during Dr. Kaul's time, and there is a project which is ongoing in which several of our colleagues are participating, where they have developed some molecules, some part of the research we have done, and actually we are in using the BSL-3 facility that we have here, using various these drug-resistant strains of TB. They are already, we are trying out we are doing all those the kill curve assays and all that with those molecules. So I can't comment too much on the exact findings at present.
You see, but right now the main work is being done at the Zydus Cadila level.
And also in our institute, sir. They are doing it in collaboration with us.
Yeah, so that work is being done here.
So
So
They're using our BSL-3 in fact. And our scientists are actually doing those assays along with
it
them.
is being done actively here
yeah, yeah.
Yes, sir.
right now.
Yes. Actually, one another lead that also coming, and this is through my own work when I was in CDFD, is use of epigenetic molecules to target the epigenetic modifiers of the Mycobacterium, who have very specific targets in the host, which are not normally targeted. So they could also become now very good targets for inhibitors. So those are also certain things that we are actually doing.
Thank you, sir.
This is a very interesting book which talks about the beginning of FinTech, both in English and Hindi. It was written by Professor Vora, and we have translated it into Hindi.
You want to?
I can actually.
You want me to release?
No, sir.
No.
This
It is for
just
you.
a memento, sir.
Memento.
Just a memento.
And this is a small plant that I actually, I love gardening, so this is a plant from my side.
Excuse me. Here in Calcutta, sir.
ये मतलब retired life.
Yes, sir.
Retired.
Retired life. Dr. C.M. Gupta is an emeritus professor in this Infosys Institute in Bangalore.
Okay. Is active.
He's
Yeah.
active, sir. Dr. Amit Ghosh is a Nasi fellow. Full boom, all that turf and all those, like LED lighting up LED lights.
First term, I think Jorhat was the first lab that used.
This is a unique facility in among the institute under Ministry of Science and Technology. Basically, the idea is to provide the technology from petri plate to fermenter, and we have all the facilities, right? And the important idea here is many MSMEs, private industries, and they have proof of concept, and they do not have fermentation facility. So it is good to incubate their technology POC and demonstrate And
We have actually done with many people like Rampur Sugar Mills, IFB Agros, Panacea Biotech, Exlex Biopolymers Private Limited. And this is in last 3 years, 2-3 years time.
sir, interesting, being a clinician, we have developed antibiotic against colistin resistance gram-negative bacteria, and it is under preclinical stage. Similarly, there is no formulation of efflux pump with FDA-approved antibiotic, and it is also in the preclinical stage. And bioequivalence study, PKPD, and these are under the process.
Good, good.
Sir, MDCC is inaugurated by you in 2016, 9th June, and we have recognized as International Depository Society.
Informatic services to the world. We receive over 10 million hits on our web servers from across the world every month. And we actually, and sir, if you remember, this is you looking at our virtual reality facility. So this is basically, we do a lot of outreach activities with kids. And we are now, we led the drug discovery virtual tool room with PSA's office for the drug discovery hackathon looking for new drugs for COVID-19. So this is our most recent contribution.
Good.
So this is, as you know, animal facility is an essential part of any research institute. So we are providing pre-clinical support, and we have all
Ammonium nitrate and iron.
sir, what is it? Plant is already nice from the halobacterium salmonella infection. This is orobopsin. Basically, orobopsin is a human liquid.
We have shown that mycobacteria makes biofilms inside the
Like cellulose, for example, as I was telling you, we always target humans and something that they don't.
Sir, I want to show you a video game that we developed, and this is basically to address the silent pandemic as we all know as antimicrobial resistance. So this game basically is to incentivize kids in the age range of 10 to 18 years old. And what it has 6 levels on skin infections right now, 1 on lung infection and 1 on COVID-19. And we are trying to convey that antibiotic resistance is accelerated by misuse or overuse of antibiotics. So it's a strategy-based game. If you prescribe less or more antibiotics, you will see AMR emerging. And this is what we want to actually influence behavior change among young kids to basically ensure that they go out in the community and also incentivize others. We also have a Arya bot. It's from Arya Bhat. So this is an integrated conversational AI bot. It talks to you and basically interacts with the kids to tell them what is going on in AMR. So this is the interface if you get into one of the levels. This is the level where you see it's the bacteria coming in. So if I just play it, you will see that this is a wound infection. Bacteria starts to move in. This is an antibiotic. Now, the minute I place this antibiotic in one of these tiles, I can do that. It's going to cost me money, and it kills it. You see here the resistance bar. The more antibiotics I'm planting, the bar is growing up, and this is basically grows in a sigmoidal fashion, the way resistance emerges. So the scientific concepts are not compromised. So it can be used for classroom teaching in terms of what is the equation that has gone behind this. So this is a game which is currently endorsed by WHO. This here, see. Hello sir. So this is a color-based water detection kit, coliform detection kit. So in which the coliform can be detected by just visualizing the color change. This test gives result in just 5 minutes. The pink color indicates the bacteria is present in water, and yellow color indicates the water is safe to drink. This is IPR protected, and this readout can be visualized by this device. The person experiences taste
up to 12% of the children's birth of the premature they die. Thank you, sir.
Sir, we have developed a color shift protein. We have developed a color shift protein film. This is from the halobacteria, salt-loving bacteria. We produced and purified this protein, and we made a formulation in a different. Like this is a polymer currency note. So recently in COVID also people are worried about the currency note which is made up of currency papers. This is a polymer notes which it is a previously made demonetized notes. You see here. Easily color change, and within few seconds it will come back to the original color. So if you see here, we made it at a different formulation. This is at a different formulation with the different components. So one is a fast changing, one is a medium changing, another is a slow changing. So this color shift, the advantage is that if you see the currency note, there are 17 security features. The only optical variable ink which has been printed and the fluorescent material which is a chemical material. So if you tilt it to a certain angle, it goes from green to blue. So this is the one which we can use by even the laser also. Laser, within few seconds it will come back, or you can use even the torchlight to see this effect. So within few seconds, it will come back to the original color. So now we are working on only the microbial pigments to make very comfortable, like non-silvernated based indelible ink also. That is our future plan. Only on microbial based system. You can see, sir, now the color. So within few seconds, so there is no detectors, there is no readers. Only by naked eye you can see the color shift change. So
same data analytics and everything is there. So, he's from CCMB. Okay.
सर पीछे हो जाओ ना थोड़ा सर सामने आ जाओ थोड़ा सा थोड़ा पीछे आ जाओ सर
डॉक्टर राकेश प्रसाद ज्वाइन किया है क्या आज? नहीं आज वो नहीं मैंने उससे वीडियो से ज्वाइन
सर
those people who are in the incubator and want training, actually the next door get the kind of
and similarly we have very high-end equipments in this lab, so we are trying to develop skill among the young researchers so that they can upgrade. This is
it's yeah, support structure. And come here, where is one of the most beautiful places to be.
for agriculture. So when we purify some proteins, we have to separate those proteins. So this is used for separation of proteins, and finally we can use those separated protein for Western protein for some other downstream applications. And similarly, this is for DNA and RNA ectophoresis. Our high-tech instruments, like for COVID research, these instruments are using for cytokinin profiling. We have supported Zydus. We have supported multiplexing for them, so just to let them know the levels of different cytokines in this. And this is, this particular instrument is very important because there is a range, like beyond nanogram, you can't detect with ELISA and this. These instruments is used for femtogram level detection, sir. So for prognostic biomarkers, you can detect from here.
Physically, but through this virtual meeting, I have had the privilege of being in your prestigious institutions earlier also, But this time, during this brief visit to Chandigarh, I had made it a point that apart from my multiple activities in PGI Chandigarh, I shall visit 3 science institutions here. Right now, I've spent the last over 1.5 hours at CSIR IMTech, and now maybe follow it with a visit to CSIR NIO, and it's a CSIR NIO, no?
CSIO.
CSIO, sorry. NIO is our Earth Sciences lab in Chennai. Oh, I always get confused with these abbreviations. Basically, I'm not used to abbreviations, but to full forms and all. And then, of course, we have to. I shall be going to Nabi also. So it was a very useful interaction here with the scientists and the director, Dr. Khosla, and his team, and the younger ones. And I'm happy that our CSIR CCMB lab in Hyderabad, which is a very prestigious institution of CSIR, it has now got this collaboration done with this laboratory here for starting one attached you see bio innovation activity under the Atal Innovation Program, which is another big activity being undertaken in this country. And that this is, I think, an ideal example of having good quality synergy, good quality coordination, collaboration, using optimally the resources, and also to overcome sometimes the technical issues that sometimes crop up when you want to develop something at one place. But now 2 places together can deliver significantly in helping our new people with those who have got bright innovative ideas in their mind. They want to work on those ideas, but they want to get the support. They want to become entrepreneurs. They want to discover things to help the society, help the people of the country, and then also to basically use those skills around innovation and their capacity and capability to produce something which will help people in a big way. This institution here is going to provide them with all sorts of support systems and all the incubators. They will have good support. Simultaneously, I was happy to appreciate and understand that those who simultaneously want training and training around skilling them, upscaling them with lot of information and the required intellectual ability and experience to be able to take forward their projects, because this is an age where the innovation coefficient becomes very important. The ideas economy becomes very important, and we are fortunate to have a Prime Minister like Shri Narendra Modi ji, who has launched the startup and the stand-up movement in this country. And over the past few years, we have seen very positive outcomes emerging out of that endeavor, with thousands of young minds being supported and helped with the requisite support systems by the government. Hundreds of SMEs also being supported, and a good quality support system, collaboration, developing a good quality innovation ecosystem, developing where the various laboratories, within CSIR, within biotechnology, within DST, our academic institutions, our universities, our ICERs, our industry people, the corporate people, the young students, and the bright people with ideas, irrespective of whether they are formally educated or not. Because what the people have been able to develop through this innovation ecosystem at the Festival of Innovations in Rashtrapati Bhavan, which I had the privilege to visit on a number of occasions in the last few years, and in fact request the Rashtrapati ji to bless these children with innovative abilities and outcomes. You find that a large number of them do not have a very good hi-fi formal education, but they have great innovative ideas. They belong to tribal areas, they belong to the areas where not many well-to-do people may be living. They belong to the deprived areas, aspirational districts, but they have got the bright ideas. So here is a government of Prime Minister Narendra Modi who stands rock solid behind every young man or every individual in this country who has a bright idea and who wants to convert his idea to entrepreneurship, and who wants to help the country by getting that idea worked upon. And this is where we have this concept of these incubation centers and these bio hubs that have been created. And now with this Atal Incubation Program and with the CCMB and this CSIR MTech here working in close collaboration, and Chandigarh is also an important place along with Mohali, where it's a very fast developing area, and it's a great boon for the scientific community, for the industry also, for the young startups also. And then we know that Hyderabad is also one of the important science cities of India. When some of our very prestigious laboratories of CSIR, biotechnology, and in fact including the National Institute of Nutrition belonging to ICMR, they all are in Hyderabad. So this is a good example of a good quality collaboration, and over the years CSIR has worked so hard, and we have been able to get a good ranking in the Shimago rank, where we are within the first 15 to 20 positions in a list of over 1100 public funded institutions all over the world. And our scientists have risen to the occasion during the COVID pandemic. Also, a lot of good work has been done in CSIR. Our laboratories could develop facilities for testing. As this particular laboratory, I know you have been able to train many other laboratory people all across the spectrum, and thousands of tests have been done there. New kits have been developed, research around discovery of new drugs, repurposing of drugs. All that has happened during COVID time also. And here also in this laboratory, about the antiviral effects of so many interventions by the industry, they have all been tested, validated, or maybe disproved. So many research activities around COVID have also been added to what we were already doing. So one of the important things that I would suggest is that all our laboratories, with whatever experience specific to COVID they could get, whether it was for improving the testing capacity, or for initiating the testing capacity, or for developing the new testing abilities, like we know about the Feluda test, which has been developed by CSIR, and this laboratory we know is known very particularly for the discovery of the streptokinase, and coronary artery, you see clot buster activity and all. So, and then another research going on here in this laboratory for discovering some new ideas for treating drug resistant tuberculosis, and research going on with Zydus cadila. So one of the main lessons, and then we know the history around the vaccine development, vaccine delivery, and so much of other activity going around on the vaccine front. So one plan of CSIR for future could also be, on one hand, in the health ministry we are trying to have a very exhaustive plan where we are strengthening Atmanirbhar Swasth Bharat and trying to make the country future ready for any future pandemics by strengthening the activities around strengthening testing, tracking and treating mechanisms by creation of, you see, these various laboratories and other institutions at the block level, at the district level. That is what is going to happen in the next 5-6 years. That's one part of this. But from the science point of view, with the experience of COVID, because the similar pandemic we had seen 100 years back, when we experienced a thing like COVID, but at least to make the country future ready, whatever science can actually contribute. You did something during emergency times, but now during when the things are, you see, likely to settle, or maybe they are in the settling stage, with the vaccine movement going on at a fast pace. Today itself we have given doses of vaccine to 4.5 crore people, and we are only emphasizing about the COVID appropriate behavior, whether that's the need of the hour right now to both the activities, a movement around delivery of vaccines and a movement for ensuring that people do not take COVID appropriate behavior lightly. This is going to help us. But I would appeal to the scientists that in whatever domains you have, and then of course involve the younger people also, help the innovators, help the people with bright ideas. There is so much of support system that has been promised by the government under the startup and stand-up movement. So all these innovation hubs and bio incubators and all those things, they need to be, I think, strengthened in a big way for imagining what could be a scenario in another pandemic at any time if it comes during our lifetime. So for our future generations, we should be contributing something very, very significantly, and that is what I would suggest, that there should be small brainstorming sessions in the various laboratories. You did brainstorming to see how you can rise to the occasion and help, whether helping by genome sequencing or whether helping by developing some new kits, or whether helping by so many other, some laboratories created the ventilators, although it was not their mandate to create a ventilator. But for future, there should be a good quality brainstorming where we should, for the next few years, apart from whatever research we are doing for whatever subjects, we also add one more dimension to this, that if there is something like COVID coming again, how do we help? Like there's a lot of things already happening, all these new biorepositories that have been created, the coordination between academic world, industry and the laboratories, and the provision of making the viruses or the bacteria or the fungi, they are available. So this is, I think, something which we need to rework. As scientists, you all know, you have enough of experience, you have enough of, you see, goodwill, and the one point that needs to be again highlighted, even at the cost of repetition again and again, is that the research that we do, it should have a good quality connect with people. It should have a potential to be able to, it should have the ability to get delivered to the people. It should have the ability to alleviate the suffering of the common man or make the life of the common man better. And it has to be fundamental science is important, but translational science is also important, solution science is also important, people's science is also important, and impact factor has to be not only how many times your paper will be published or read, but it has to be how many more people or how many problems at the field level could be resolved because of the research that we have done. And another point which I have been emphasizing for last 6-7 years is that there should be a live connect to strengthen synergy between the various scientists of the scientific community within the various laboratories belonging to various departments in science and related areas regularly. It should not only be theoretical academic thing where we put our research in the on the websites or at the relevant portals, but there should be a live man-to-man contact discussion on the various important key subjects that we work upon, and all that is getting, you see, developed. It should be aggressively and proactively shared with the other colleagues working on the same subject in different laboratories. This is, I think, very important. Like this program that has been launched today, when I got into the depth of this, I could appreciate that this came out of developed out of a discussion between the directors of two institutions, one in Hyderabad and one in Chandigarh. And then this idea, when you share the problems, you find resolution of the problems, and then you are able to develop a program and get a new facility created which is going to benefit a large number of young people. So, it's a great, so this also gives us the encouragement to actually work further on many of these activities. So I think for today, that is what I do not want to give a long lecture. You have all interacted with me. We have shared our views on number of occasions. Once or twice I have visited every laboratory, and maybe as things are settling around COVID, I am planning to go to all the laboratories once again, one by one, and see with my own eyes the progress that has happened in those laboratories after my last visit to those institutions. So you can expect me anywhere in any laboratory at any time in the next couple of months. So that is very much on the agenda. It was my agenda for 2020, but because of COVID we couldn't implement the agenda. But that process now I've revisited, and we are in the today itself I am going to visit 3 laboratories, 2 laboratories after this, and go to CSIR, CSIO now after this, and then to NABI. So thank you all once again, and all my good wishes to the young startups and those who are going to be benefited by the activities that has been inaugurated today. Thank you so much.
Yes, 15,000 WOs. These are for public distribution, but we have 10,000 more for the which are kept for the different labs as a part of the research programs. So we also having those that have been saved custody. So that is supplied as and when required by the other institutes. So this is how we maintain this. Not to allow this powder to get sub during the vacuum exposure, which are actually subjected to the vacuumations. So it's a glass blowing basically, and as you get, you reach a particular temperature, then shut. So these are the three filters which are taking second filtration under the vacuum. So we seal it under the vacuum. As we seal it, then immediately we check for the vacuum condition. And when we supply it, you break open this and then start blowing on the vacuum. That's it. So that's why we are actually supplying to the normal filters. Since we have some problem with the factors, we actually started. But we, in the future, we wanted to plan. This is an anaerobic workstation. Because a lot of microbes are anaerobic, we wanted to develop this. And at the present, 200 to 300 of the anaerobes that we have deposited in the ICC. Good. Having potentials, having antimicrobial activities that we study, we write and synthetic peptides we are developing. And we are doing, these are the photosynthesis actually, but it's very difficult to grow them, isolate them. So we wanted to actually right? Photosynthesis, beautiful pigmented actually.
Like plants,
And
they
these are
perform
antioxidants.
photosynthesis. Like they produce pigments, antioxidants, everything. Like plants, they use.
Considering the antimicrobial resistance these days, so these are a photoactive resistance.
So identification also we are providing to the Indian Academy and industry. Some people may not have the facility, so they can send their microbial culture to us. So we have some mechanized identification systems, which actually detects based on the metabolic identity, metabolic signature.
So the seed you have planted has grown into this facility.
Yes,
The
they have
seed which you
three
planted
process-
has now grown into